Hello and welcome back to ScotlandShop on the Sofa. I'm John.
And I'm Carrie, and over November we've been having a great time learning all about the notorious border reivers Clan Johnstone. Come along with us as we explore their grand homes, greatest achievements and most fearsome battles. First though, let's go right back to the beginning.
Clan Johnstone are a highly respected ancient clan who first established themselves in Annandale over 600 years ago. They claimed large stretches of land on the western marches along the English borders which they guarded fiercely. The family built a strong reputation quickly, with one early member, Sir John Johnston, a knight from Dumfries, appearing in the Ragman role, swearing fealty to King Edward I in 1296. His great-grandson was later appointed as Warden of the Western Marches, a prestigious role that held the responsibility of monitoring security between England and Scotland.
This prompted a bitter feud with the neighbouring clan Maxwell. The two families competed for land and status, with the role of Warden of the Western Marches passing between the two sides regularly. In 1593, John, the 7th Lord Maxwell, grew tired with the constant warring and decided to eliminate his rivals once and for all. He gathered an army of 2,000 horsemen and set out to invade the Johnstone's territory of Annandale.
Luckily, the Johnston chief, Sir James of Dunskelly, got word of this treacherous plan and had time to recruit support, calling on help from the Grahams, Scotts, Carrutheresses, Irvings, Elliots and others, managing to amass a group of 800 men.
On December 6th, the Maxwell army reached the Johnstone's land, arriving in a place called Crieff Sands. Sir James, knowing that he was outnumbered, then launched a cunning attack, sending only a small handful of his men to provoke the Maxwells, keeping the vast majority of his supporters hidden.
Then, when the Maxwell army broke ranks to pursue their enemy, the main body of the Johnston group suddenly and furiously charged, catching the Maxwells off guard and slaughtering over 700 of their men. Lord Maxwell is said to have begged for mercy and offered to surrender, but the Johnstons were too enraged by this cruel plot to let him go. They executed the chief and left the remainder of the Maxwells to make their escape.
In 1608, Clan Johnstone and Clan Maxwell arranged a reconciliation. Sir James Johnston of Dunskelly and Lord Maxwell, son of the chief who was killed at the battle at Crieff Sands, planned to meet to bury the hatchet. However, once they saw each other, Lord Maxwell quickly pulled out a pistol and shot the Johnston chief twice in the back, fatally wounding him.
He fled, initially escaping to France before finally being caught, brought back to Scotland and publicly beheaded in Edinburgh for the murder under trust of Clan Johnston's chief.
As should be clear by now, the Johnstons were a powerful family, and their castles reflected that.
We think it only makes sense to start with the hereditary clan seat, Lochwood Tower, which is located in Upper Annandale, just southwest of Moffat in Dumfriesshire.
It is believed that the Johnstons held Lochwood as their main stronghold from the 14th century, although the early history of the castle remains quite mysterious. The first time the tower was referenced by name took place in November 1476, when John Johnston signed a document transferring the ownership of the lands of Queensferry to his son. He signed the deed as being from Lochwood. From here, the castle began to appear frequently and was often mentioned in connection to border disputes.
One particularly dramatic dispute came to a head in 1547, when the English managed to capture the tower. They seem to have been impressed by Lochwood's riches and provision, exclaiming that it was well purveyed with salted beef, malt, barley, oatmeal, butter and cheese.
By this point, Lochwood had become outmoded, and its owner, the Earl of Annandale, spent most of his time in Edinburgh instead of at the old clan seat. It's thought that after the Johnstons abandoned Lochwood as a place of residence, local farmers likely raided the site for building materials. As a result, Lochwood now stands largely in ruins, making it hard to imagine how striking it must have looked in its heyday.
Fortunately, we have a number of contemporary descriptions to help us picture it. In 1537, an English soldier named Sir Thomas Carleton described Lochwood as a fair large tower with a barnkin, or surrounding stone wall, hall, kitchen and stables all within the barnkin. It's also said that James V, on riding up to Lochwood, cried out, "He who built it must have been a knave in his heart." This suggests there were likely several impressive defensive elements to the site.
During the 1980s, the Johnston clan chief cleared away the rubble from the ruins, restored the two-chambered vaulted basements, and cemented the remaining walls firmly in place. While doing this, he also found various fascinating artifacts, including the original iron gate to Lochwood.
While the ruins are still not safe to visit close up, the chief's work has made them far easier to see from the road. If you do find yourself in the area, make sure to keep an eye out and see if you can spot what's left of the Johnstons' historic clan seat.
After the family left Lochwood, they needed a new seat, and Raehills House fit the bill perfectly. Raehills is a magnificent mansion located near the town of Johnston Bridge in Dumfries and Galloway.
William Johnston, the first Marquess of Annandale, came into possession of the lands of Raehills in the early 18th century. Then George van den Bende, 3rd Marquess of Annandale, commissioned the architect Alexander Stevens to build Raehills House in 1786.
Stevens designed the house to have all-round battlement reinforcement and roofs made of sturdy slate. The east front boasts a colonnade which extends along the length of the whole building, supporting a balcony and leading onto a terrace.
After George's death, the house passed on to James Hope Johnston, who made some improvements of his own, building the idyllic surrounding gardens and parks.
Raehills has long been recognised for its historic worth. In 1971, it was included in the Scottish Monuments list at Category B, before being upgraded to Category A in 1988. It still serves as Clan Johnston's seat to this day, and is the current Earl's family home. While this means it is not open to the public, it does sit in the middle of Annandale Estates, which contains several beautiful walking paths. This scenic stretch of countryside is blessed with grand oak trees, grassy ferns and mosses, numerous singing birds, and even swaths of bluebells during the spring.
We would now like to introduce you to a couple of the most talented members of the clan.
Joe Johnston was born on the 13th of May 1950 in Austin, Texas, but found himself drawn to the bright lights of California, where he began his sparkling career. While he was in college, an advert looking for a storyboard artist caught his eye. He applied and won the job, which turned out to be a position at George Lucas's Lucasfilm. He went on to say that working here was the best education in film he could have hoped for.
He worked as a concept artist and effects technician on the first Star Wars film, the creative designer of the Millennium Falcon spacecraft, and the co-creator of the design of Boba Fett in The Empire Strikes Back. He was also the art director for one of the effects teams on the sequel, Return of the Jedi.
Despite his many successes, Johnston was starting to get restless. In 1984, he went to George Lucas and told him that he intended to leave the company and travel for a year. Lucas was not keen to accept Johnston's resignation, so made him an alternative offer. He told Johnston that he would put in a good word for him at his alma mater, the University of Southern California's film school, pay for his tuition and keep him on at half salary. Johnston accepted this generous offer, and it seemed to pay off as he expanded his career into directing not long after.
He made his directorial debut in 1989, releasing the hit comedy Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which soon became a cult classic. A few years later, he directed Jumanji, starring Robin Williams, which audiences loved, exemplified by the fact that it grossed at over $260 million.
In 1999, he changed direction from effects-heavy action films to the more artistic October Sky, starring Jake Gyllenhaal as a teenager with dreams of becoming a rocket scientist for NASA.
In the 2000s, Johnston continued to see great success, releasing the sequel Jurassic Park 3 and making over $300 million at the box office. He also went on to win the highly sought-after director role of Marvel's Captain America, the first Avenger.
It's amazing to see how many classic films Clan Johnstone have had a hand in, and do let us know if we've reminded you of one of your old favourites.
If sports are more your thing, the next famous Johnston will really impress you. Julie Ertz, née Johnston, is a prominent American soccer player who has had an outstanding impact on international and club play.
Johnston was born on the 6th of April 1992 and showed a great talent for football from early childhood. She went on to study at Santa Clara University, where she played as a midfielder for the Broncos women's soccer team and was a standout performer.
After graduating, she started her professional career in 2014, playing for the Chicago Red Stars in the National Women's Soccer League. She became admired as a strong and versatile player, able to excel both in midfield and defence.
Johnston was also a crucial member of the US women's national team, debuting in 2013. She accompanied them to numerous competitions, including the 2015 and 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup and the 2016 Rio Olympics. She proved herself to be essential to the team on many occasions, including during the 2015 final against France, where she scored her first international goal, helping the United States to win 2-0.
She has gained many accolades, including US Soccer Female Player of the Year in 2017 and 2019, and US Soccer Young Female Athlete of the Year in 2012, and has enjoyed a long-standing career. She celebrated her 100th match with the United States team in March 2020, winning 2-0 against England at the She Believes Cup competition.
Julie retired in September of 2023, citing her desire to focus on parenting her children as the reason. She is quoted as saying, "I'm proud of my growth and I'm grateful that soccer allowed that, but I'm really excited for my next chapter and I'm grateful to have found something I love even more, and that's being a mum."
She made an emotional speech at her last game, encouraging her young followers, announcing, "To any young girl out there who dreams to be here, it's worth it, every part of it." Julie clearly inherited the Johnston strength, determination and power.
We're running out of time for today, but before we go, as always, we'd like to take a moment to mention our favourite thing, tartan.
Clan Johnston's tartan is mainly made up of earthy greens and browns, interspersed with striking blue and yellow accents. Here at ScotlandShop, we stock 4 varieties: ancient, modern, weathered and muted. Each option offers a different tone, with modern being the boldest and weathered the simplest.
Owning your clan's tartan is a great way to connect with your heritage, and we have a great variety of products you could choose from shoes to ribbon to dresses and waistcoats. We're sure you'll find something to suit you.
With that, unfortunately we're out of time for today. We hope you have enjoyed meeting Clan Johnstone as much as we did. Make sure to check out our clan page and blogs to learn more, and please get in touch if you have any questions or comments.